Hey guys, welcome back. So the main reason why I started doing YouTube videos was because I wanted to be able to reach out to like as many people and girls as I could, and I really do genuinely enjoy helping people, and I do like to be able to whatever I'm going through in life or whatever I come across, like to be able to share it with people. And YouTube has been really like an amazing outlet for that. And even though I've only been on it for a few months and only done a few videos, it's still been like the most fun that I've had in a long time with a consistent project. So I noticed that when I had started, I knew I wanted to do like beauty, and when it comes to like hair, makeup, nails, and that sort of thing. But I also wanted to help people when it came to their own personal situations. But one of the things I've noticed in life that I actually really strongly dislike is when people give me advice when they haven't really gone through what I'm going through. And I always feel like I'm a very stubborn person, so I'm one of those people where it's like I learn my life lessons and I learn a lot about like who I am and like figuring things out when I go through things myself. You can tell me 10,000 different times how you went through something, the ways you went through it, and I'll still tell you that it's different. So unless you're telling me some crazy story and I'm like, you know what, maybe that's not for me, then that's probably the only way that I'll learn. So yeah, I didn't want to come on here and give people advice when it's like, who are you? Like, Rachel, who are you? Like, your life isn't perfect. You're not where you want to be yet. You know, you're still growing. You're still getting to the place that you want to be as a woman and as a career person and all that. So like, who are you? I don't want to come off as that person. So one day I was driving in my car, where I usually come up with my brilliant ideas, or in the shower or right before I go to bed, which is basically everywhere without a paper and a pen. And I was like, what is the most common thing that I realized when I was going through things in life? And I was like, you know what? It's what I wish someone told me. Like, why didn't someone tell me any differently? Why didn't someone tell me something else? Like, why didn't someone tell me? And usually they did, but I was a little stubborn. But I was like, I would love that as a segment. I want to do that. And I was like, okay, let's try it every Friday. So hopefully every Friday, and hopefully even more often if I come up with good ideas when I'm thinking about life or analyzing things. But yeah, I was like, I'm going to come up with a segment about saying, like, title, what I wish someone told me. And it's just various different things that I've gone through with life that I could share with you guys. And honestly, it's not advice. It's just, you know, I went through it too. So, you know, if it helps you, that's all that I want. That's the most satisfaction I'll get. So yeah, so I guess today would be the first day and first segment, and I have to look through to see what I want to talk about. Okay, yeah, so I figured because it is October 4th, I guess, today, and it's a month into school, people are already settled in and whatnot. I was like, why not do a series on what I wish someone told me about school courses and all the information. So just a brief story. When I started university, I think I'm so, and I'm gonna base it off university because that's like the most recent experience that I've had. I was so into like, I'm gonna be on my own, I'm gonna do my own thing, nobody can tell me anything, I'm moving out, I'm grown now, honey, I'm grown. Let's be serious, I was not grown yet. So anyways, and I realized that, yeah, I applied to a program, I got in, that's great, life is good, you know, I moved into where I needed to be. Then when it came to classes, like, I'm a really organized person, so I knew where my classes were, where I had to go, and everything. But nobody told me about course requirements, average requirements, what I needed to stay in my program, when I needed to move to a different program because I didn't really want to be in what I had originally gotten into. It's a long story, but basically I got out of my program to switch back into it. I was very indecisive. But yeah, and I realized like there's so many, no one's going to help you in university. You have to help yourself. There are so many different outlets. You can use the course calendars that are provided from your school about your programs. You can go online. They give you a physical one during orientation. There are mentors and advisors. But yeah, at the end of the day, end of my first year and somewhat of my second year, I was still confused. Like, I had no idea where to go get anything. And that was a big reason of why I didn't suffer through school, but why it took me a lot to get back on my feet and get back on track. I didn't know where to get my information, but I can go and find anything on the internet if you ever ask me to. I'm like Inspector Gadget when it comes to those kinds of things, but I couldn't figure out my courses. It was really ridiculous. But yeah, like, you need to really know your school website, know where to go for registration, know where to go. There's always information even before registration is open to apply for classes. You are able, yes, you are able to see what professor is teaching what beforehand. You can avoid whoever you need to avoid. You can plan out your schedule before it even comes out. Well, not before it comes out, you kind of need to know what's offered, but you can plan your schedule and before you even need to register, and that's what I learned to do following realizing and falling behind track and whatever. So it took a while, but like, just know your school website. No one's going to do it for you. You know, you might be lucky to get your advisor to do it for 1 year or 1 semester or whatever, but like, you can't go to them all the time and they're gonna look at you like you're crazy if you're always in there when it comes after registration about, well, you know, can you put me on the wait list? No, honey, you should have been there at 12 a.m. when registration was open to get into that class. I remember once, I was in my club attire. I took my laptop to my friends because it was summertime, you know, you're chilling, you ain't got no worries, you don't need to worry about school, and I wasn't in any summer classes. I took my laptop to my friend's house because he lived by the club, and I registered for my classes by 12 a.m. that day. Put my laptop down, put it back in my car, and I still went out. Like, priorities, honey, priorities. Like, you cannot tell me that you registered 2 weeks later. Like, you have got to be on top of things. And I'm telling you this because I wasn't, and I suffered, and I had to be stuck, and you know, you may need that one course as a requirement to get into your other courses. So what happens when you don't get into it that semester? You're behind a semester, you know? And people were like, well, there's only a certain amount of spots, Rachel. What about that? That's true, but at least if you can say at the end of the day that you tried everything in your power, then you go to your advisor and be like, well, look, it's you guys' problem. Like, it's your problem. Why don't you have enough seats, you know? You can't go in there saying all that and then they're like, well, what did you do to try? What did you do to even, what did you do at the end of the day? Did you apply late? Well, you know what I mean? Stay on top of your game. Stay on top of your game. And that means knowing your university, knowing the website, knowing what it takes to do everything. You know, my mom wasn't there to do anything for me. She didn't know nothing. Like, she went to a completely different school, to law school, to do whatever she wanted to do. And then you're telling me I'm going to a different school, different university for business. Like, she's not going to help me. She could help me in high school, but she couldn't help me now. So it's like, no one can help you but yourself. So yeah, I guess that is my first what I wish someone had told me so I didn't have to suffer for a year. I could have saved a year. So now I told you. So I hope that it helps you, and I hope I told you way before you needed it. And yeah, stay tuned for the next one, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye!